Hi guys, so good afternoon and welcome back to my magical world. It's me, Frostbite, your favorite celebrity here in the Philippines. It's 3:17 and the afternoon today is August 3, 2025. So happy August to all of you guys. Um we are going to finish reading page 252 of the book Mastery. How are you? It's Sunday today, so I think it's best if you're going to, um, you know, rest or maybe do some workouts for yourself. More disturbing, the book hardly sold considering the printing cost. It was an enormous financial fiasco, and public image of Marcel Proust became permanently cemented. He was an elegant dandy, a snob who wrote off the only world he knew, a young man who had no practical sense, a social butterfly who dabbled in literature. It was an embarrassment and it demoralized him. Taray ng blue eyes, oh. So, ganyan pag blue eyes yung Filipino. But, syempre, naka-filter tayo, guys, kaya maputi. Pero I'm morena. I have to cover my blemishes and look presentable. The family pressures to finally choose a career now grew intense. Still confident in his skills, he decided the only answer was to write another novel, but one that would be the opposite of pleasures and days. It would be much longer and weightier than the first book. In it, he would mix childhood memories and recent social experiences. It would depict the lives of all classes of people and an entire period in French history. It could not be seen as superficial, but as the novel became longer and longer, he could not figure out how to make it cohere into something logical, or even into something resembling story. He found himself getting lost in the immensity of his ambition, and despite having written hundreds of pages, by the end of the 1899 he gave up the project. He began to grow increasingly depressed and despondent. He was tired of the salons and mingling with the rich. He had no career, no position to rely upon. Nearing 30 years of age, he was still living at home, dependent on his parents for money. He felt constantly anxious about his health, certain he was doomed to die within a few years. He heard endless stories of his friends from school becoming prominent members of society, with growing families and of their own. In comparison, he felt like a total failure. So this is the consequences if you constantly compare your life to other people. Kasi, again, we are different individuals, or we have a different, we all have unique paths to take on this life. So, hindi mo dapat yun. Kailangan, you don't need to do that, guys. You don't need to be so hard onto yourself. Okay? So, you don't need to be so hard on yourself. So, kailangan medyo, easy ka lang, guys. Okay? So, take all the time you need to figure out what you need to do. Ayan. All that he had accomplished was a few articles in newspapers about high society and a book that had made him the laughingstock of Paris. The only thing he could rely on was the continued devotion of his mother. In the midst of his despair, he had an idea. For several years, he had been devouring the works of the English art critic and thinker John Ruskin. He would teach himself English and translate Ruskin's work into French. This would require years of scholarly research into the various topics Ruskin specialized in, such as Gothic architecture. It would consume It would consume much of his time, and he would have to put off any ideas of writing a novel. But it would show his parents that he was serious about making a living and that he had chosen a career. Clinging to this as his last hope, he poured himself into the task with all his energy. After several years of intense labor, a few of his translations of Ruskins were published to great acclaim. His introductions and the essays that accompanied the translations finally raised the reputation of the idle dilettante that had haunted him since Pleasures and Days. He was seen as a serious scholar. Through his work, he had managed to hone his own style of writing, internalizing the work of Ruskin. He could now write essays that were thoughtful and precise. We're done na guys. So thank you guys for listening and thank you for helping me make this world a better place for all of us and for the future generation. See you later.